From the Broughton Cabinet Studio, it's the Need to Know Morning Show on AM 1100, The Flag.
It is time for the CEO Spotlight. It's brought to you by Vaaler Insurance. When it comes to protecting your business, nobody beats Vaaler. And we are pleased to be joined in studio today by Tracee Capron. She is the Executive Director of Hospice of the Red River Valley. Good morning, Tracee. Thank you for coming in today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to have you pull this up nice and close to you so we can hear you.
Yeah,
there you
get
go.
close
Perfect.
to that mic.
Thank you so much for that. Tracee, we appreciate you making time. We know that mornings are always busy, and these days with not just building a business, but kind of trying to figure out what comes next after we've had this kind of weird world of the coronavirus and things like that. There's always a lot to do. So we appreciate you making some time. I guess I'll start there. Tell us a little bit about the history of Hospice of the Red River Valley, what the organization is for those who don't know a lot about it.
We are a community-owned nonprofit hospice, the only one in the state of North Dakota and one of the few in Minnesota. We're the largest in North Dakota and the fourth in Minnesota. You're our owner, and the community's our owner.
Okay. So how do you get your funding then? How do you keep your lights on there?
The generosity of the community is a huge piece of it. Our donors, the philanthropy, they help us provide care to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. We build Medicare, private insurance. We don't turn anyone away.
So someone gets in contact with you when mom has gotten that news from the doctor that things aren't looking good, and we need to figure out what to do to make her comfortable for her final days. Then you get a call? Is that how it works most of the time?
Absolutely. Families call us, friends call us, patients call us. But we do, we've been doing hospice care for 40 years, making sure people live as well as they can as long as they're here. But we do so much more than just hospice care.
And tell us about that.
We have two special programs. What we did is we searched for what are the needs in our community? Where do we see problems that we can solve and gaps to help people live better? So we have a community-based palliative care program and a primary care program called House Calls. And I'm going to date myself.
Okay.
Marcus Welby. He was the doctor with the black bag that came to your door. That's what we do too.
Okay.
We know that people need care before hospice care, and they need it at home. And how do we keep them where they want to be and where they want to live?
Yeah, it's a really good point because doctors don't make house calls like they used to, but that's kind of one area where there's a need, and you responded to that.
We're one of the few in the country that have done that, and kind of a demonstration and innovation. How do we meet people where they need the care the most? And where do you see people live their life the way they live it? It's at home. It's called self-determination. How do you want to live?
Yes, absolutely. So do you have doctors that you hire that are on your staff, or do you connect them with people from Ascension Sanford? How does that work?
All the above.
Okay.
We have doctors on our staff. We have nurse practitioners, obviously, nurses, social workers, chaplains. You name it, we find it or we have it on our staff. We partner with our local facilities, the nursing homes, ALFs, Essentia, Sanford, all true, wherever we can. It's about what the patient needs and how do we make that picture perfect.
I imagine if you're going to their homes, you can actually see certain problems, like if they've got slippery rugs or floors or stairs and, on and on and on. So it's easier to address those things if you can actually see them because you know what to look for.
Well, and you don't even know sometimes. I look at my own parents. I mean, that was my first experience 15 years ago, like with palliative, with my mother. I'm like, okay, you don't even know sometimes that you're not doing things the way or a better way. You look for a better way to do that and have that extra set of hands there helping you and guide you. It's an incredible thing. We want to keep people out of the hospital and in their homes. I mean, that's the key, right? And how do you live well?
Yes.
And what does that look like to you?
Because it's different for everyone, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of palliative and primary and hospice. I always say it's about how they want to live. The patient and the family are in the front seat. We're in the back seat helping them get where they want to go and navigate. Healthcare is very challenging. You have to be flexible, but not only, it's like a giant puzzle. And we help put all those pieces together to make this beautiful picture for the family and patient so that they can make the best choices.
Interesting stuff. So you work, it says Hospice of the Red River Valley. So you're up Grand Forks, Grafton, you're kind of all over the eastern side of the state? Or?
Oh my gosh, we're now currently 44,000 square miles. We have a satellite in Bismarck now.
Okay.
Valley City, Lisbon, Grand Forks, Detroit Lakes. Did I miss it? I'm sure I'm. We have a huge service area because what we found is this is a rural community. There are people all over, in particular, North Dakota is, I'm very passionate about making sure that we can reach people that don't have care. And about a third of the state didn't have services. So we're like, how do we get our help to them? And what kind of innovations do we need to develop to make sure that they have what they need?
Yeah, great questions.
I'll tell you, my history with these fine folks. I mean, you people have halos and wings. My friend Ole Barton, Ole's Ride. Yeah, we started that in Vergas, Minnesota, little old Vergas, Minnesota.
I have my shirt.
Do you? That a girl?
I had it on this weekend.
Awesome.
Yeah, yep,
well,
absolutely.
My dear friend Chrissy, who lost her husband Ole to cancer. You guys it's unbelievable what they do and how they do it. And not just for the people that are in the position of needing the care, the support you guys give to families, Jess, his daughter, and Chrissy. And Ole's Ride has kept going now. What are we, 10, 11 years now into it? And it's just amazing the outpouring and how much love people have for hospice, kid. I just wanted to weigh in with that because we're part of it and we just love it and we love the cause and we love what you do. Just can't say enough about it.
And you know what you do, you talk about Angels of Wings, it's the people that support this vision, this organization. Because this organization is owned by you, but you take care of your community, your family, your friends, your loved ones. You got it right.
Yeah. Alex, what do you think? You want to go on Ole's Ride with me this year?
You know
I
it.
need a passenger.
I'm a good one.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I've never seen so many people in one spot. I think it's bigger than the town.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all
It's
on their
gotten there.
bikes, all like going for the same thing. They're raising money to make sure people in the community are cared for that can't do it.
And Ole always wanted a Harley, but he never really had one. And the first year of the ride, we worked out a deal with Aples to get him a Harley Davidson trike because he was a little weaker. He couldn't ride the motorcycle. So it was the only year he got to ride in his own ride. And we got him a Harley trike. It was just a great memory.
You know what? And that's the key.
Yep.
He did it his way
You
and
bet.
the way he wanted.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
Tell me about your story. What's your background? How long have you been to the organization? How do you find your way to the organization?
By accident.
Like most good things happen, right?
You know what? It's a purpose, and it's meant to be. From the time that I arrived here and I heard about it, I was drawn because of the board. And I'll tell you what, the board was so amazing. I've interviewed other places. I've been in hospice 20 plus. I say 20 all the time. It's probably 25 now. And palliative care.
We won't tell.
No, you lose track, but because it's every day is a great day.
Yeah.
But the board said to me, can you come? And we want someone to take care of its people. And your people are the most important part of your organization. And that impressed me. And then they said, how are you going to care for our community? And you know what? Right then and there, I was sold. It wasn't how are you going to build our business? How much this are you going to bring in and that? It was all about the people, which is why I do what I do. And then I saw Hospice of the Red River Valley with its used heart, and hands. And I thought, that's what we are. We use our heart and our hands and we serve. And I think that I just walked in the door and I was like, wow. Time I got off on the plane, Minnesotans. Unbelievable. I fell in love with the people and how helpful and caring the community is. And I'm like, okay, I've never been here, but I can make this work.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How many people work for you at Hospice Red River Valley now?
Oh, shoot. We're over 235 people. We have 325 to 400 volunteers. They are a huge asset to us because they help supplement a lot of the things that we couldn't do without them.
Very interesting. And how long has the organization been together?
40 years.
40 years. How did it start, do you think? What was the thing that somebody said, here's the problem we have to solve? What do you think that conversation sounded like?
That people wanted to be home. And if I asked you that when you're healthy and well, where do you want to live? Who do you want to be with? And how do you want it done? And I'll tell you what, there was a group of nurses, doctors, Joy Query being one of them. I mean, these people got together and it was volunteered and it was free. But they took their healthcare organizations throughout here, all got together and they helped build this. So we're built to serve every healthcare organization, every hospital. And that's the beauty of it. You know, there's no boundaries
Yep.
with that.
No doubt.
Has demand for your services stayed relatively flat, gone down, gone up? What's been the story the last few years?
The demand has always been there. The issue is, and I'm just going to say this, my own personal experience, the word hospice is like, makes people nervous.
Yeah.
And they think, oh, you know, this is it. It's not always it. And what I saw with my own personal family 25 years ago when I said, I'm getting into this, I saw us live a great life. And I saw her improve. And I saw how getting the family together. And it was just an incredible experience. And I thought, wow, it's not about dying, it's about living.
How do you get that word out? Because, like you said, I think hospice, it's like, oh boy, that's going to be it.
It's you guys right here. And every person that has an experience sharing that. You know, the thing here is we are the second lowest in the nation for utilization of service. Why? You know, how do we educate? But you know what? The word of mouth, I mean, we have grown tremendously. I've been here 4.5 years. We used to serve about 200, I think the number was 242 when I got here, of hospice patients. We're about 400 a day now.
Oh, wow.
Our palliative care and primary care, which you're the first to hear about it on the news because it's grown. We started small. We have almost 400 patients, 350, 360 in primary care. And we haven't even touched what we need to reach. So just having people understand, you know, it's about living. You know, call up. You're not tied to it once you talk to us.
Yeah.
You're not tied to it. We graduate 10% of our patients. We get their symptoms controlled, meds in place, and we offer them services and figure out how to find support.
Get them back to where they were before, if at all possible.
Some, I mean, yeah, or learn how to live with what you have.
Yeah, right.
How do you live with that? Yeah.
Kind of to that end, you know, we've been talking about, you know, hospice, palliative care. Those are heavy words. How do you manage to yourself and your team keep things on a positive nature when it can be difficult, the conversations you have?
They are very difficult, but I feel every person, when I talked about the puzzle, you're entitled and should know the whole picture. You need to know the best and the worst possible thing that it can be and have plans for all of those. And it is our responsibility, and we believe that. And when we see, it is a gift to go into someone's home. It's a privilege. So when you walk in there and you see this family and this patient have relief and know that they can have comfort, people fear suffering. We prevent that. We alleviate that. And they get to experience that. So that's what drives us, you know, and just being, I don't know, when you walk into a family and you're included in it, it's just a beautiful experience. I mean, you get to meet all these wonderful people.
I can tell you're someone who is a choose positive kind of person, and just listening to you talk. We talk about that here with our leadership team all the time, that you have a choice. You know, when you roll out of bed, is it going to be a good day or a bad day? You get to make that decision. Tell me how you use that within your team to build a positive organization.
I believe that because we see everything, you know, and when you say choose positive, you can find joy in anything. And it is a choice. And I am the glass overflowing, because I'll tell you what, you have to find that. You have to find it in healthcare. You have to find it in hospice care. And that's what you emphasize. As a matter of fact, people at work, I work with incredible people. That's the start. And, you know, they brought signs in and post on my wall, choose happy, choose joy, joy in the journey. I mean, it surrounds us, but we also choose to live like that. And it's part of even from orientation on. It is a choice, you know, and we spend a lot of time at work, you know, and we might as well. I mean, you have to, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What does the future look like as you look maybe 5 years down the line? Any ideas, your visions about what things might look like for hospice?
Absolutely. When we started the primary care and palliative care as well as hospice care, there's a key word called aging in place, helping people live at home or in the least restrictive environment. That's where healthcare is turning. It's not what it used to be. The needs are different. We are able to control costs more effectively. Our outcomes are great. I mean, you can't beat that. Healthcare, you got to be flexible, you got to be nimble. IT, telehealth, I'm learning a lot about that. We had things in place before COVID hit, and I am so thankful that we did that, because we were able within 2 days, like up and running. How do we connect these families that can't see their loved one?
Wow.
Oh, it was amazing.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah.
2 days, yeah.
And we didn't know how it was going to all work. But you know what? I have a team of people that are determined and committed to making this work because they know these people need it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. We're all on the same page. We all want what's best for these families. It's going to be you and I. None of us are exempt from this.
Oh, I remember my mom spent a year battling cancer and died my senior year. Oh. And it was 1979. I mean, it was all we could do because they wanted to just send her home. She wanted to go home. It was all we could do to find a hospital bed that we could get into our townhouse at the time. And we had nobody. It was my dad and I. Mm-hmm. So again, I really know and appreciate what you do and love you guys.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's okay.
It is. But you know what? It's funny. I got a call. Actually, I was out walking the neighborhood and someone told someone I worked for hospice and they had a family member that was struggling. They're like, they need a bed. I'm like, okay, why do they need a bed? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then when I found, usually when you're ready and you're looking for a bed or there's things like, how do we do this? You can call us. It may not be hospice care, but we can connect you to those services or send someone in because you really don't know what you need or where to get it.
True.
And that's a really hard place to be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very much so. If you want to find out more about this wonderful organization, they're online at hrrv.org, Hospice of the Red River Valley. You can find out about all the wonderful things that they do. Trace, this has been great to have you. And I told you this time would fly past, and here we are. So thank you for coming in today. Great information today, and we wish you all the best. God bless for all the great work you do.
Yeah, thank you. You're all wonderful.
Right back at you, Tracee. Thanks
and
much.
we'll see you in Vegas in August.
I will be there.
All right.
With my shirt and buying a new shirt.
Got to get a new one,
You
yeah.
get a new shirt every year.
Yeah.
Tracee Capron, Executive Director of Hospice of the Red River Valley. Thank you, Tracee. Take care. The Vaaler Insurance CEO